out today on Roberts Bank in the Fraser River estuary. So what we have coming through now is the spring breeding migration of the western sandpipers, and well over 1 million birds, western sandpipers, a whole species coming through on breeding migration from Central and South America, Mexico, on their way up to their breeding grounds in Alaska. So they have to stop somewhere because it's a long way. So there's about 5 or 6 major stopover sites which we call the Pacific Flyway. And on the northward spring migration, this is one of the very few on the Pacific coast of the Americas where we get these congregations, immense congregations of shorebirds. And they're stopping just a few days, maybe between 2 and 6 days, to feed heavily before they carry on their migration for another couple of thousand kilometers. They're mainly feeding on what we call biofilm, which is on the surface of the mud. And biofilm is less than 1 millimeter thick, and the birds are slurping it up with hairy tongues. We've got this great group of international scientists here today. We've got at least a dozen scientists from Canada and from Japan, from various disciplines. The birds, we feel, they're feeding on diatoms, which are microscopic plants. They're covered in silica. They're at the base of the food chain, and normally they're like any plant. They basically photosynthesize carbohydrates. But a few times in their life, they bloom. And when these small critters bloom, they produce these omega-3 fatty acids. And they're the only creatures on Earth that produce that. The birds absolutely need them, we believe, to complete their migration, because there's certain omega-3 fatty acids that modify their flight muscles for long-distance migration, which these birds are doing. All over the world, there's been major collapses of shorebirds along flyways, such as the Southeast Asia flyway. And many of those muddy estuaries have been subject to anthropogenic development, coastal changes and climate change. And those birds are falling out of the system. So what we're trying to do here is really understand what those birds need and make sure they continue to get it.